Creator Michael Konyves joins us now to talk about the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sounds like an
It's
exciting
exciting.
day. Tell me
Yes,
about the show. It looks charming.
it is. So it's what they call. It's in the vein of like a light procedural, sort of like the shows like Castle and Moonlighting. It's
Yeah,
one of those. It's about a very charming con woman played by Vanessa Morgan, who plays the character of Max, who is partnered with a sort of down on his luck detective, Detective Ellis, played by Giacomo Giannotti, and they are forced to partner together in the first episode to solve a crime. And then she is kept aboard to sort of work off her probationary period,
of
and they
course.
have to work together so she can stay out of jail and he can then get back to a full-time desk of being a detective.
I'm invested already. I imagine there's some certain sort of tension between these two very attractive characters.
Yes, they are. Yes, there's a lot of chemistry. There's a will they, won't they love story that will happen throughout. Can you trust her? Is she playing it straight? Is she a criminal? You don't know.
You don't know. And people just love these. Where did you kind of get the idea of wildcards? I know you mentioned some others maybe were some inspiration, but where did inspiration really hit you?
I mean, it's a genre that I really love. It's a genre that when I came up with it, just a few years ago, I noticed there weren't any of these shows on television, and there used to be a lot of them on TV. And we just kind of, in all the procedurals, which is procedural, sort of like a crime show, like a Law and Order, where every week is a different crime,
Right.
they all became very dark. And I kind of really missed those old style, fun, light, romantic ones that have that really quick banter. And this really came to me originally from, long story short, I was watching one night, I found it on TV, the movie 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, which was an old favorite of mine,
Right.
although that's an R-rated movie. But I was like, this would be great. And then I had the idea of changing the Eddie Murphy character to just making it a woman and, changing to a will they, won't they kind of, and that was the genesis of it,
I
if you
love
will.
it. Now, we are very familiar with things being filmed here in Vancouver, and especially we have things filmed here at the CBC building all the time, but usually it's a stand-in for Toronto or New York or Detroit. You've actually set the show in Vancouver. And what made you decide to do that?
That's right. Well, it's a CBC show, so it's a Canadian show.
True.
And yes, most shows, as you guys know, in Vancouver, you film there. Everyone is filming all over Vancouver all the time. Everyone who knows it's Vancouver, but
We're
has
always
never says
looking
it.
for it to pop up in movies.
Exactly. And for here, we really wanted, and I talked about it with them originally, and when I talked with CBC about it, there was nothing that was really set in Vancouver. They had shows that were Toronto. There's a lot of shows that are in the Maritimes, but there was nothing that was on the West
Mhm.
Coast. And I was like, let's make it there. And because I love the idea of being able to have this city, and because of the kind of show that it is, where part of sort of the fun part is that every week of the show is every crime is really sort of inspired by a different piece of almost pop culture, like a famous movie or something. So like a nod to it. So we have an episode where, let's say, a surfer is killed, and it's our Point Break episode.
Okay.
Or we have one where that's up in wine country, and then we have so we have different things like this, and then that one has witches in it. It's like the Witches of Eastwick.
Okay.
And so there's all these little things, and Vancouver has so many different landscapes to pull from. That is great. And to play it just for what it is so much nicer because you have the beach. Ellis also lives on a boat in the harbor. That's where he lives, down in False Creek.
Okay.
And so that's where you spend a lot of time on his boat, which is a real boat down there that he's on.
Nice.
And so you get the mountains, you get the city, you really get to explore the landscape, and you don't have to fake everything like they do on American shows
Right.
where you're trying to hide things.
We got
That's
it
what
all
it's doing.
here.
Exactly.